all the speculation out there that the Pac-12 is looking to expand by adding San Diego State to the conference, it got me to thinking, does that mean the Big 12 has no shot at San Diego State? Well, that may not be the case. Pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and let's talk about it. What is up, college sports fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Coos, and welcome into another edition of Coos' Corner. So pull that chair up and let me fill your cup with a shot of top-shelf college football knowledge. On tap in this episode, we're once again talking potential Big 12 conference expansion, and will Brett Yormark and the league potentially add San Diego State? I did a video on this a few months ago when the UCLA-USC news broke about them going to the Big 10. I was looking at all different possible scenarios for the Big 12. San Diego State was one I really looked at and really kind of liked. I liked the idea of the Big 12 potentially adding San Diego State. They're one of the few non-Power 5 schools I wouldn't mind seeing get added to the conference. But when you listen to most media members, they say it's the Pac-12 that has the best chance of landing San Diego State because obviously they already have schools in California, and they want to bring San Diego State to help fill that gap left by USC and UCLA and try to get back into the Southern California market. But recent comments by Brett Yormark, where he has made statements more than once, actually, that the Big 12 wants to expand west, and he's even went as far as to say they want to get into that fourth time zone. Well, everybody has assumed he's talking about Arizona, Arizona State, maybe Utah, maybe Colorado. And I'm not saying he's not looking at those schools, but none of those schools are in the fourth time zone, folks. The Big 12 is already in the Mountain time zone with BYU. He says he wants to get in the fourth time zone. Could he be talking about Oregon and Oregon State? Could he be talking about Washington or Washington State? Yes. Could he be talking about Stanford or Cal? Yes. But he could also be talking about San Diego State. It's very possible. Now, with the news that broke a few weeks ago about the Big 12 agreeing to an expanded television deal with Fox and ESPN, details started to come out about that deal that, hey, there's a prorated clause in this deal that will allow the Big 12 to expand, and that ESPN will honor that by paying their share to the new teams. Well, Fox didn't agree to do that. So that means only 63% of that $31.7 million per team would be honored because that's the share that ESPN pays. But then I heard, well, but it's only for Power 5 teams. There were several people who have reported it's only for Power 5 teams only. So, man, maybe that rules out them ever getting San Diego State. So I assumed that was off the table. Then I come across this article by Dennis Dodd, and I actually referenced this article in another video I did earlier this week about Pac-12 and Big 12 expansion. But in this article, it mentions that if the Big 12 expands, the new teams would get 63% of prorated revenue, which I mentioned, which would be about $20 million per team. Should Fox not approve of expansion, the Big 12 would retain the right to shop those added games to other media partners. Still, those added games wouldn't be available for a new partner until after Fox had made all its picks. So, it looks like Brett Yormark has left the door open to bringing in a third media partner. So if they do decide to add another team or teams, maybe this third media partner picks up the tab for those teams. And it got me thinking, well, would San Diego State be willing to leave the Mountain West Conference for a smaller share of the Big 12 revenue? So I did some digging, and I found this out. Number one, the Mountain West only pays their schools about $4 million a year in TV revenue. $4 million. So it wouldn't take a very large offer for a third media partner to come in and maybe make this an enticing move for San Diego State. Maybe an Amazon or an Apple TV or, I don't know, even a Netflix, who's been rumored to be looking at getting into the live sports business. Maybe they come in and say, hey, Big 12, we'll give you $10 million if you add San Diego State. We'll add $10 million a year, Tier 3 media rights, to go along with what you're getting from Fox and ESPN. $10 million per team, that is. Well, heck, $10 million is $6 million more than what San Diego State's making right now in the Mountain West. That might be enough. But then I saw San Diego State also has an exit fee. The Mountain West Conference has an exit fee. Any team who leaves their conference, if they give them more than 1 year's notice, the exit fee is $16.5 million. If they don't give them more than 1 year's notice, it goes up to $30 million. Now, I doubt San Diego State is going to want to pay that $30 million, but they could potentially afford to pay the $16.5 million because it would only take them potentially 1 to 2 years to get that money back with this by being in the Big 12. Now, does that mean the Big 12 is going to be more attractive to them than the Pac-12? I don't know that yet because we don't know what the Pac-12's media deal is going to be. That has not been disclosed. That has not been released. We expect to hear it anytime what the Pac-12's media deal is going to be. I keep hearing the date of November 17th. I don't know where that date comes from. Maybe somebody in Pac-12 country can let me know that, or somebody who's keeping track of this a little more closely than I am. What is the deal about November 17th? Now, my heart of hearts, I still think that Pac-12 still has a better chance of landing San Diego State than the Big 12 does. But it doesn't mean the Big 12 is completely out of the picture just yet because they do have that option of bringing in a third media partner. And keep this in mind. Here's another piece of the puzzle. In this Dennis Dodd article, when he's talking, he actually mentions the potential of San Diego State moving conferences, and it says, and I quote, "We continue to have conversations all along with various entities," said San Diego State AD J.D. Wicker when asked about going to the Pac-12. "As we assess those, we'll make the best decision for San Diego State." So it sounds to me like more entities besides the Pac-12 have been talking to San Diego State. And I can't help but wonder if one of those is the Big 12 because, like I said, Brett Yormark has made it clear he wants to get into the fourth time zone. He's already in the third time zone. He could be looking to get into that California market, open up California recruiting to his current members, and get into what is considered by many to be one of the most beautiful cities in America. San Diego State just opened up Snapdragon Stadium this year, a brand new state-of-the-art stadium. It holds 35,000 people, can be expanded to 55,000 people. They no longer have an NFL team, so San Diego State is now the only game in town. And they are still close enough to L.A. to probably capture a good portion of the L.A. TV market. So I would not rule out San Diego State to the Big 12. How likely is it? I would say it's less than 50%, I would say. Probably more around the 25 to 30% range. But heck, so far Brett Yormark has been able to do everything he said he wants to do. He landed an early TV deal with Fox and ESPN. He was able to get the revenue up from where they were expected to be after losing Texas and Oklahoma. So who's to say he can't go get a school into that fourth time zone, and maybe that could be the San Diego State Aztecs. Let me know in the comment section what you think about the potential of the Big 12 adding San Diego State, and how likely do you think it would be? Do you think it's less than 50%? Do you think it's more of a 50-50 chance? Or do you think it's almost a 100% guarantee that they land in the Pac-12? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Also, if you want to support my channel financially, you can do so in two different ways. Actually, more than two, but the main two. You can check out my merch store. I've got my new channel logo now on some merch. You can get a hoodie to keep yourself warm in the wintertime for those of you who lived in cold weather regions. Get you a beanie to cover up your cold head, especially if you're bald like me. You can get you a coffee mug. You can get you a ball cap. You can get you a mouse pad. Whatever you need, you can get it with my channel logo, or I've got other designs to choose from, like the ones you see on the screen now. You can become a member of Cougars Corner by hitting that join button right below and check out the perks I have to offer there. If you want to support me absolutely free, you can do it in 4 ways. You can like this video, share the video out with your friends, leave that comment like I mentioned, and last but not least, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subs by the end of the calendar year. It's going to be a tall task. I know I can do it, though, if I have your help. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I really appreciate you tuning in to this latest episode of Cougars Corner. And until the next one, Q Country Roads.